Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. I wasn't sure. I got up and I came out to the middle fork of the Feather River. And I already went down with my jig and checked the water. It's clear enough to fish. And this area near the town of Clio where I'm started, or Clio, however they pronounce it, there's a clear green flow and that brown stained water, but it's clear stained. It looks like iced tea. And someone was telling me it's something that comes from trees or something, some kind of tannin or something. And I just want to start out here really quick, see if I can get something, and then I want to go head down to where I got that big rainbow in one of my clips from last year. I wasn't sure if I'd even be able to fish. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe this would just be a muddy mess. And I was already prepared to go to the Truckee if I did it, because I fished the Truckee for Patreon yesterday. The water was crystal clear. I fished down by the state line, and I was nailing browns yesterday, man. So I'm going to see if I can't get some rainbows. I know there's some browns in this area. I've never caught any big brown in here. I've got some small browns in here. But the water's flowing, the water's up, but it's clear enough to fish, so there ain't going to be no Plan B Truckee today. There's going to be middle fork of the Feather River. Let's go. Ooh, I got a good one. I'm glad I chose the Feather. Ooh, he's hitting. That's a good fish, man. That's a nice trout. See if I can get him in. It's a good brown. Come on. Come on, buddy. Ugh. He's in the net. He's in the net. Single barbless marabou jig. Working like a charm. Let me hold this guy up. He's in the net. Look at how frisky he is. He had a good chance to rest up. Let me get my hands wet. And this is my first big brown in the middle fork. I've got these nice rainbows in here. Look at that fish. That's a nice brown right there. And I'm glad to start off in the first 10 minutes with that fish. So what I did to get that fish is that stained iced tea colored stuff is out there. There's this side creek that's coming in and spilling in this clear water, and I casted right up into where the clear and the dark meet, and I let my jig sink down because this slow water isn't the best for what I do with these 1/8 ounce marabou jigs. So what I try to do when it's slow like this, and I demonstrated it in that last video I put up, I think, for the Truckee, is I try to cast upstream and I try to keep it as low along the bottom as I can. And I try to scoot it along the bottom like it's a little sculpin or something. I don't know what they think it is, but that's like my only good move in slow water like this, unless the fish are being really aggressive, because the fish in slow water like this have so much time to look at your jig and they can follow it that they don't always desperately hit it. I don't know how much time I'm gonna put into this spot just because this slow stuff just isn't, you know. I caught that fish and I got one last week in the slow stuff, but I get a lot more action when the water's moving. See, this looks really stained, but it's clear. It's like iced tea. And that's just what it's like, the river's like up here. It's flowing good. There's some really good stretches down there. I'm gonna drive down the road to where a bridge comes over the river near a golf course. I got a couple real nice rainbows down there last time. I went ahead and stopped at this spot that's on the way to where I want to go, just because I hit some really nice rainbows down here on my fly rod once when the flow was down. So I figure I might as well run down here and see if any of those nice rainbows are hanging out today. So unlike the Truckee below that diversion dam and fish nest there where the water really wasn't flowing, this water's up and it's moving, man. When I caught those fish here I was talking about, the water was so low, you could see giant boulders right at the beginning of this. And all of those big boulders that I was fishing are completely submerged. But I'll make some casts. So this river is cranking, man. And it's a little more stained down here. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. Man, this river is flooded out. Listen to that. There's something in there like growling. Is that the sound a beaver makes? It's getting quiet now. Something was just like... Something screamed. What is that? That's something big, man. Something semi-aquatic. I saw it. I don't want to get attacked. I kind of want to hear it. Is this thing gonna come at me? There it is. It's out in the river now. Okay. I think it's a river otter. The thing sounded angry. But it's out there now. I saw it splash. All right, I saw what it was. It's two river otters, and I think they're mating or something because they're like they're together. Mystery solved of what that noise was. But they're down there swimming around. I think I'm gonna call this. The river's so flooded out, it's really hard to fish. You got all these willows out in the middle of the river, and I can't get a decent cast in without getting all tangled up. And even if I catch something, getting it through that willow situation is gonna be ugly. So I'm just gonna call it early. The river's really washed out. It's flooded around the edges, and it's really a pain to fish. So I got that one big brown early, and it's the only bite I got, the only evidence of fish I saw, but it was enough. I'm gonna wrap this up. And I hope you enjoyed this little look at the middle fork of the feather. To be honest with you, I didn't even think I was going to be able to fish today in the middle fork of the feather. I mean, I went down to the bridge, fished that one spot where the clear creek kind of washed out the heavier stained water, and I got that big brown, and that big brown was enough for me, man. So I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the middle fork of the Feather River. We're going to come back when the water's a little more under control and there's a little bit more clarity. So thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.